Hello and welcome to the Lose Weight for Good teleseminar series. This is the first in the teleseminar series, and it is the only teleseminar to be presented in video format. I just want to take this moment and tell you how much I appreciate your time and in letting me share what I've learned about losing weight and just living healthier. My name is Dr. Russell Hamidou. I'm not only a doctor of physical therapy, but I'm also a weight loss expert. And for those of you who don't know me, you're probably wondering what makes this guy think he's a weight loss expert. Well, I'll tell you. You see, I've lost 10 pounds. Oh, you're not impressed? Well, let me tell you this. Losing 10 pounds is always a big deal. And I don't care whether you have just 10 pounds to lose or hundreds of pounds to lose. It all needs to start with the first 10 pounds. And whenever you lose 10 pounds, it's something worth celebrating. As a matter of fact, the way I celebrated losing my 10 pounds is I lost another 10 pounds. And I felt so good after losing that 10 pounds that I did it again. And again. And again 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 and again. Yep, if you've been keeping track, that's over 20 times. And yes, that's a picture of me. And that totals over 200 pounds.
So he goes, well, we had to weigh you. I said, fine. So I get on the scale, and it's one of those electronic scales, talking scales. You've heard of the ones where they get on the scale, and it says, good morning. Oh, God, son of a oh, my God. And then this white smoke started to come out, right? This little low oil light comes on. So you know what he says to me? He goes, well, you have exceeded the capacity of the scale. You would need to go to the post office to get weighed. To the post office. So I go. They didn't tell me how much I weighed, but they told me if I ever tried to mail myself anywhere, they were all going on strike.
Well, that was me, and certainly a lot has changed since then. I mean, for instance, I had hair back then. But you know what? I really did lose that 200 pounds, just 10 pounds at a time. And, when you take some time to think about it that way, losing all the weight you need seems really doable. When you lose 200 pounds, people ask a lot of questions. For instance, they'll ask, how did you do it? Now, why do you suppose they ask that? I figure it's because they want to know exactly what I did so they can do exactly what I did. And the problem with that is that this almost never works. While you can certainly learn from the successes of others, you simply can't duplicate someone else's life and blindly apply it to your own. This is why diets don't work. As you'll learn, weight loss is one of those things you need to discover from within yourself. I promise you that what you are about to learn is a system that will change your life for the better, if you let it. Another question that I was asked is, how long did it take? When people ask this question, I know what they really want me to say. They want me to say, not long. Actually, I just woke up one morning and the weight was gone. Yeah, well, no. Well, I totally understand why people want to lose weight fast. As you will learn, losing weight too fast almost guarantees you gaining it back. Remember, you didn't pack this weight on overnight, so it's not reasonable to expect it'll come off overnight. I'm sorry to say, but the best way to lose weight is to allow your body and your mind to slowly adapt to the whole idea. According to most experts, after you lose about 10% of your body weight, you should try to maintain it for a while. And then you can start to lose another 10%. Research shows that people have kind of a body weight thermostat. It's an internal control mechanism that keeps your body at a certain weight. If you lose weight too fast, your body and your mind will work hard to restore things to the way they were. One huge mistake people make when they're losing weight is that they try to starve themselves. Now, here's the problem with that. Our physiology is designed to protect us against starving. As soon as your body realizes it's starving, it protects itself by lowering your metabolism. When your metabolism lowers, your body actually conserves energy. Since it uses less energy, it's harder to lose weight, and it's easier to gain weight if you do lose it. Another fact is that when your body's on this starvation diet, so is your brain. The whole time you're on this diet, your brain is dreaming of the day when it's not on the diet. So what happens when you finally go off your diet? You go crazy and you start to gain weight. Now look at it this way. A diet is a lot like a seat on a city bus. As soon as you sit down on the bus, what are you thinking about? Getting off the bus. But diets are just like that. What we're going to learn is how to make the journey more like a cruise. When you board the cruise ship, you don't ever want to leave. As we'll learn, the beliefs and thoughts that come from your brain play a huge role in setting your body's weight thermostat. We're going to work hard to reorganize your brain, to allow you to lose weight, live healthy, and be so happy with your lifestyle that you'll never want to get off the boat. You know, another question that I got was, what made you decide to get serious about losing weight? And I guess we'll have to go back about 12 years, and I was quite literally a different person. Not only did I have hair, but I was double my current size. Weighing in at over 400 pounds, I was sick and tired all the time. I had all I could do just to finish a day of work. Then a visit to my doctor's office changed my life forever. I was there for yet another respiratory infection. On this particular visit, I was expecting just to get some antibiotics. Instead, I got a dose of reality. You're pre-diabetic, he said. You might think that's not a big deal, but it hit me right between the eyes. In my mind, pre-diabetic was just another way of saying diabetic. And it was another way of saying chronically ill. You see, until that moment, I had convinced myself that it wasn't that bad. That I was basically healthy. I was just a little overweight. At 400 pounds, I had myself convinced I was just a little overweight. I was lying to myself, and for the first time I realized that my weight, my lifestyle was killing me. You know, by then I had already been a physical therapist for over a decade, and I'd seen what diabetes does to people. It takes their sight. It takes their legs. It gives them pain. It literally takes your life long before it kills you. The thought of being blind and legless and dependent on other people scared the heck out of me. If you think pre-diabetes is no big deal, think again. It's a big deal. But the good news is, if you're pre-diabetic or even diabetic, you can change that. You know, and then all of a sudden, I felt so mortal, so vulnerable, so responsible, so guilty. How did I allow this to happen? I felt like that Dickens character, Ebenezer Scrooge, after being confronted with my self-indulgent past. All at once, the ghosts of my past were swirling around me, and on the horizon, the ghost of my future didn't look too friendly. Then it occurred to me that I could change this. Just like Scrooge on Christmas morning, I could change the course of my future by changing my present. Then, one small change at a time, one little habit after another, I accumulated enough good habits to lose 10 pounds, and then I just repeated it 20 times. I mean, it's just that simple. I'm not saying it was easy, but it was that simple. You know, the best part about it is I'm not the only one. The more I do this work, the more people I meet that have made incredible life changes and lost massive amounts of weight. In fact, the National Weight Control Registry is a listing of over 5,000 people who have lost significant amounts of weight and kept it off. 5,000 people! And these are just the ones who volunteered to be part of the project. There are even more big losers out there that didn't volunteer for the study. The point is that if I can do this, and if 5,000 or more people can do this, so can you. You know, another question I was always asked, and how did you let yourself become over 400 pounds? Whoa. Now that is an uncomfortable question. You know, uncomfortable questions are pretty special. Because the questions that make you most uncomfortable can be the source of incredible insights. And if you explore them, if you allow yourself to explore them, they'll lead to incredible personal growth. And one of my favorite authors, M. Scott Peck, wrote, "Our finest moments are most likely to occur when we are feeling deeply uncomfortable, unhappy, or unfulfilled. For it is only in such moments, propelled by our discomfort, that we are likely to step out of our ruts and start searching for different ways or truer answers." Do you feel stuck? I mean, do you feel like you're in a rut? Chances are you need to feel a little uncomfortable. And with your permission, I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable, maybe even unhappy and unfulfilled. But I do it only to get you step out of the ruts. I need you to start searching for different ways or truer answers, because if you're like me, you're probably lying to yourself. And if you're not happy with the results in your life, chances are you're going to need some different ways. If I ask you a question, or if you even ask yourself a question that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's probably the right question. Besides, I realized that if I could answer that question for myself, I could probably help a lot of people. So, how did I get to be over 400 pounds?
So I said, I'm going on a diet. So I looked into, they had to have this Atkins diet where you eat no fat, they eat all the fat and no sugar. And then they got other diets, you eat no fat and all the sugar. So I went on both of those at the same time. That wasn't working, so pick one. So I went on a low-fat diet, and everything was going fine. It was going fine. Until my mother found out.
On this low-fat diet, you see, I saw on Oprah that you need fat with diet to survive.
Ma, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, since when are they advertising multivitamins with a full daily supply of fat? I mean, could you imagine the breakfast cereal? New pork rinds and potato chips. You know, kids will love it, and moms, 400 grams of fat per serving. And besides, statistically speaking, I got a greater chance of dying from rough sex with Cindy Crawford than I do of fat deficiency. I realized I had a problem. I realized I needed to go to the doctor. So I go to the doctor, and he looks at me and he goes, "So, is obesity running your family?" I looked at him and I said, "Doc, nobody runs in my family." You know, she called me lazy. She did. And she knows just what buttons to push. You know how wives know what buttons to push? She knew just what to do to get me angry. She stood right in front of the television and said, I was so enraged I almost sat up. So anyway, she called me lazy. And I was trying to explain to her, I said, you know, I'm not lazy, I'm just health conscious. You're a nurse, you understand this stuff. You see, you're born with just so much energy. And when you use it up, you die. And since I had no idea how much energy I was born with, I'm not taking any chances.
You know, in reviewing those old comedy tapes and in thinking about the type of person that I was, I realized I got to be 400 pounds because of my beliefs and my thoughts, which led to my actions. You know, what you need to realize is that your life situation, all of it, your health, your weight, your way you handle money, your relationships, and success in general begin with what you believe and how you think. To truly change, to truly become better at anything, you need to examine and challenge your thoughts and beliefs. As you'll see, your beliefs are the single most important reason you are in the situation you're in today, both good and not so good. Let me ask you this. If I could help you reprogram your brain to believe and think like a thin, fit, and healthy person, do you think that you could act like a thin, fit, and healthy person and then become a thin, fit, and healthy person? I'm telling you, it can happen. It is possible. I did it myself, and I've helped other people just like you do it too. You know, what most people don't realize is that when Mahatma Gandhi said, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. He was actually describing a system that causes human beings to operate in a very specific way. And that operation leads to your results in life. Just as your computer and smartphone has an operating system that gives you the results you want, your brain has an operating system that has given you the results of your life. So what do you do when your computer is not giving you the results you want? You update its operating systems. If you're not happy with the results of your life, this course is perfect. In this course, we're literally going to install a new operating system into your brain that will not only give you weight loss results, but will also give you the ability to stay healthy and stay active well into old age. You see, I'm not just a weight loss expert. I'm also an expert on aging. Now, I've been a physical therapist specializing in geriatrics for over 20 years. And working with older people, I mean a lot of older people, I've seen what it's like to age well and age badly. I've seen huge differences in both the physical and mental states of people that lived healthy in their youth as compared to their hard-living counterparts. I've seen 80-year-olds living like they were 50 and 50-year-olds wasting away as if they were 100. I mean, this is one of the reasons I am so committed to helping people like you to lose weight and get healthier now. Because I've seen firsthand how valuable it is to accumulate good habits so you can live healthier, not just longer, but you can live better. The best part is that the human body has an incredible ability to recover from the abuses we throw at it. What this means is that it's never too late to adopt a better, healthy life operating system. One thing you need to understand about operating systems in the brain is that every area of your life has its own operating system. So you have an operating system on how you behave at work. You have an operating system that handles how you deal with money. You have an operating system that handles your relationships. You have an operating system that deals with how you eat. And you have an operating system that deals with how you move your body or don't move your body. While you might think that you only need to update your eating and moving around operating systems to lose weight, as I have learned, this is a huge mistake. There are actually 2 more operating systems that we need to work on to ensure lasting success. But don't worry, we're going to get to those later. To install your new eating and moving operating systems, it might be helpful to talk a little bit on how your old, "oh my gosh, I can't see my feet anymore" operating systems got into your brain in the first place. Well, to do that, we need to understand how the brain is formed. You see, it's a bit like an onion. That is to say, it has layers. As we evolved, our more complex brain was literally built on top of the simple brain of our forebears. What that means is that the basic instincts that kept our ancestors alive in the wild are alive and well in the most primitive parts of our brains. Computers actually have a brain layer like this as well. It's called a BIOS, B-I-O-S. And it stands for Basic Input-Output System. What that means in humans is that our basic input-output systems allows us to have behaviors that are so basic, they're automatic. Throughout the history of human evolution, our species has survived because our food and exercise behavior was automated. Our primitive BIOS was hardwired to eat whatever food we found and rest whenever we can. The easiest food for our ancestors to find, by the way, was still the food that is considered healthiest today, and that would be fruits and vegetables. Meat was a lot harder to find and even harder to catch, so we rested when we could because you never knew when you were going to have to chase down a meal or avoid becoming one. Certainly the world has changed a lot since prehistoric times, and we have evolved again. Or should I say, de-evolved. While it is not the whole problem, a big part of what's happening with this global obesity epidemic is that people are not developing more advanced eating and moving operating systems. They're depending on their primitive BIOS. Certainly the world has changed when it comes to food. I love this cartoon. This is where the father's describing to the son, our bodies store fat in case the pizza parlor's closed. Well, the problem is the pizza parlor is never closed, and neither is the Sonic or the McDonald's or the Domino's or the Burger King. And, we certainly don't have to chase down our food anymore. And if you look at the drive-thru at that Wendy's, we don't even have to get out of our seats. And let's face it, we just don't have the same motivation to exercise that our prehistoric ancestors had. While most people understand that to lose weight they need to eat less and move more, it is a common misconception that losing weight is a matter of simple mathematics. The problem is that eat less plus exercise more rarely, if ever, The problem is that eat less plus exercise more rarely, if ever, leads The problem is that eat less plus exercise more rarely, if ever, equals lasting weight loss. To truly lose weight for good, we have to discuss not just your eating and moving operating systems. We also have 2 more system updates that are equally as important. That means there are actually 4 operating system updates we need to install. How many operating updates? 4. That's right. The first is called the Betterness operating system. The Betterness operating system actually drives the process of change itself. If you feel stuck in your life, if you kinda sorta know what to do but just can't seem to do it, updating this operating system will make a huge difference. People who take the time to update their Betterness operating system usually see improvements in all aspects of life. They usually experience more success in everything they do as a result, and they end up happier and more fulfilled. We're going to spend a lot of time on the Betterness operating system. The next system is the eating operating system. This system goes way beyond simply eating less. We're going to re-engineer your brain in such a way that everything about your eating will change. You'll see food entirely differently. Not only will you willingly eat less, but you'll eat different foods. You'll actually enjoy food more as you go through this process. Not only that, but we're going to re-engineer your food habits. You're going to be able to painlessly reorganize your brain and your world so that you will not only eat healthier, but you'll enjoy it. You may even crave healthy food. I'm so excited to deliver this information to you because with this material, we are going to transform you into a person that never has to diet again. And then, well, we're going to get you moving. The fitness operating system. We're going to change the way you feel about exercise and make it possible for you to love your body. We're going to help you to create a body that not only makes you proud, but is also your greatest asset. We're going to get you excited about getting into the world and fully participating in life in a way that you have never dreamed. Get ready, because this is where it really gets fun. And finally, we have the For Good operating system. The For Good operating system is kind of like an antivirus program. It constantly scans all of your new operating systems for thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors that will cause you to backslide. With this system installed and running properly, you'll be able to throw out your fat genes and forget about crash dieting forever. So let's take a moment and talk about the Betterness operating system. Betterness is an accumulation of positive changes that achieves major life improvement. The changes can be small, but the improvement must be continuous. Betterness is about the constant raising of your standards by small increments. And we're going to talk a lot about your standards. So imagine that your weight loss goals are like the Empire State Building. Now you want to leap over the Empire State Building, and like most of us, you probably think you're, this guy, Superman. But the problem is you're not, and nobody is. And if you try to make a running leap at the Empire State Building, this is probably what's going to happen. You're going to slam into the brick wall. Betterness and the small step system that I'm suggesting says, maybe it's time to take the stairs. The status quo is an illusion. You haven't stayed the same. Nobody stays the same. The truth is you're either actively getting better or you're actively getting worse. In this case, circling the drain. I used to think that worseness was a passive process, but I realized that worseness is an active lowering of your standards. Think about this. If you don't have what you want in a particular area of your life, it's probably because you lowered your standards as to what was acceptable for you in that segment of life. Now, the Betterness system has three basic components. The first step is build the lighthouse, the next step is leave the shore, and the final step is sail the boat. Now, in the build the lighthouse phase, the lighthouse has three components. There's the granite base. Those are your beliefs. And then there's the actual building, the structure of the lighthouse, that material that's going to raise the lighthouse above the horizon. That's your vision. And then finally the actual light, the beam that shines out across the darkness. That's your purpose. And this is so important because when the storms are raging and you just can't imagine getting to your goals, getting to your vision, keeping that lighthouse burning, keeping that purpose strong is going to help you navigate through the storms. This is a great analogy because at one time people believed the world was flat, and the boats never left the port. They never explored. They didn't even know the world was out there. So it's amazing to see how your beliefs can limit you. And a lot of the work that we're going to do is talk about the beliefs that are limiting you and getting rid of them and replacing them with beliefs that are going to let you explore the world. Belief we discovered in our research guides a large part of your life. In fact, it permeates every part of your life. Carol Dweck, in her book, The Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, she discovered that the single most important thing that separates those who accomplish from those who don't is the steadfast, unwavering, and sometimes seemingly unreasonable belief that they can. This is how ordinary people achieve the extraordinary. So what do you believe? You know, as we go on with this course, we're not only going to define what a belief really is, but we're going to take deep dives into beliefs about what you can do and what you can't, and who you are, and what causes you fear, and what limits you, and what empowers you. And we're also going to dig deep into your beliefs about food and about exercise. Then we're going to work on your vision. As Stephen Covey, the celebrated business and success author, said, to begin with the end in mind means to start with a clear understanding of your destination so that you better understand where you are now, and so the steps that you take are always in the right direction. And finally, purpose. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, he who has a why can endure any how. It is your purpose that is going to keep you going through all adversity. And the stronger your purpose, the more likely you are to keep going until you get this right. And the next step is leave the shore. Truth is, if you can never discover a new land without consenting to lose sight of the shore for a very long time. Until you decide to actually get off the shore, you're stuck in the bottle. Leaving the shore is about commitment. Are you ready to do what it takes? You know, as this course continues, we're going to talk about what readiness really is and help you see that some things you're ready to do and some things you're not. And the things you're not ready to do, it's okay. Do the things you're ready to do. What about sail the boat? Sail the boat is all about full engagement. But what are you really going to do? The 4 A's of full engagement are awareness, attitude, action, and accountability. And we're going to take a deep dive on what these mean and how we can use these tools to your advantage to get things done. Remember, awareness, attitude, action, and accountability. And finally, in the words of Henry David Thoreau, I know no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by conscious endeavor. And I want to thank you very much for starting this journey of conscious endeavor with me, and I look forward to hearing about your success.